Lakota warrior noticed her, turned away from the village store, said, "Follow me, I'll provide tonight." The sun hung low over the rolling plains, painting the horizon in shades of gold and amber. A gentle wind swept across the grass, carrying the scent of wildflowers, fresh earth, and the faint aroma of wood smoke from the village hearths. In the heart of the village, a small gathering of families moved about their evening tasks. Children ran barefoot across the dirt paths, laughing as they chased each other, their feet kicking up tiny clouds of dust. Elders sat on carved wooden benches, sharing stories of ancestors and times when the buffalo still roamed in great herds. The air was warm but soft, holding the promise of a quiet night. Near the village store, a young woman lingered, her eyes fixed on the ground. She did not join the others who moved briskly between the wooden stalls, picking up supplies or exchanging greetings. Instead, she stayed at the edge, shifting from one foot to the other as though invisible walls held her back. Her shawl, plain but neatly folded over her shoulders, caught the sunlight, highlighting the deep brown of her hair and the quiet sadness in her eyes. A figure approached, moving with the grace and confidence of someone who knew the land as well as his own heartbeat. He was a Lakota warrior, known among the villagers not just for his skill in protecting the people, but for his wisdom and gentle heart. His name was Waikasa, which meant wise one in the tongue of his ancestors. He walked silently, taking care not to startle the small birds that hopped among the grass, and his eyes immediately fell on the young woman. There was something in the way she hesitated, the way she looked at the bustling store without stepping forward, that made Waikasa pause. He had seen this look before. People weighed down by worry, fear, or sadness, hiding behind a mask of calm, though he could not know her story yet. He understood that she needed more than the ordinary kindness that came with passing greetings. She needed guidance, someone to show her that she was not alone. He adjusted the straps of his simple leather pack and began walking toward her. His steps were soft but deliberate, like the measured movements of a fox tracking through tall grass. The sounds of the village, the laughter, the clatter of pots, the creak of wooden wheels, faded slightly in his mind as he focused on her. She was unaware of his presence, her eyes following the hands of the village storekeeper as he arranged fresh bread and dried meat for the evening. Waikasa stopped a few paces away, studying her carefully. He did not speak immediately. Sometimes, he found, the silence before a word was as powerful as the word itself. He noted how her fingers nervously twisted the edge of her shawl, how her shoulders hunched slightly, and how her gaze flickered around the square but never met anyone. Her presence was quiet, yet it carried a weight that pulled at his heart. Finally, he spoke, his voice low but clear, carrying across the small distance between them. "Good evening," he said. She startled slightly, as if she had been caught in her own thoughts. Her eyes darted toward him, wide and uncertain. Waikasa gave her a gentle smile, one that spoke of patience and understanding rather than judgment. "Good evening," she replied softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "I am Waikasa," he said. "I have watched you here for some time. You seem troubled. May I walk with you for a while?" She hesitated, her gaze returning to the ground. For a moment, Waikasa thought she might refuse, but then she nodded, a small, cautious movement, and stepped aside to let him pass. They began to walk together, not toward the village center, but along the edge of the plains, where the grass swayed like a green ocean beneath the fading sun. Waikasa kept his pace steady, matching hers, giving her space while still remaining near enough to offer support. The wind whispered through the grass, carrying with it the distant sound of a river flowing over stones and the faint cries of geese returning home for the night. "Why are you so quiet?" Wakasa asked after a few moments. His tone was gentle, a quiet invitation rather than a question demanding an answer. The young woman glanced at him briefly, then away again. I do not belong here," she said finally, her voice hesitant. "The store, the people. I feel out of place." Wakasa listened without interruption, letting her words settle between them. He knew that sometimes people needed to speak, and other times they needed to simply be heard. Silence could be as comforting as any advice. "You are not alone," he said at last. "Even when the world seems full of others who do not notice, someone can see you. I see you." Her eyes lingered on his face for a moment, searching for anything that might reveal doubt or deceit. Finding none, she allowed a faint smile to touch her lips, almost imperceptible, but real. They walked in silence again, the sun sinking lower behind the distant hills, casting long shadows across the plains. Wakasa pointed out small details along the way a cluster of wildflowers leaned toward the sunlight, the tracks of a rabbit etched into the soft soil, the song of a lone bird perched atop a distant tree. He did not explain these things as lessons. He simply shared them, letting her notice and appreciate the subtle wonders of the world around her. After a while, he spoke again. "I have a place not far from here," he said. "It is quiet, and the earth provides what is needed. If you wish, I can show you. Tonight, you will not be hungry, and you will have a chance to rest." The young woman's eyes widened slightly, surprise and hesitation mixing together. She had expected little kindness from the world tonight, and yet here was someone offering not just food, but guidance, companionship, and care. She considered refusing, unsure if she could trust, but something in Wakasa's calm presence made her pause. Slowly, she nodded. "Follow me," he said, his voice steady. "I will provide tonight." As they continued walking, the village behind them began to fade into soft shapes of shadow and firelight. Ahead lay the open plains, the promise of night, and the quiet protection of someone who had chosen to notice her. The path was simple, yet it carried meaning beyond the distance they would cover. It was a path of trust, of courage, and of small steps toward belonging. Wakasa's thoughts wandered to his own childhood, learning from elders how to move through the world with respect, patience, and care. He remembered the lessons taught by the elders: to see, to listen, to understand before acting. Those lessons guided him now, shaping every step as he walked beside the young woman. By the time the sun had fully dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of crimson and violet, they arrived at a small grove near the river. The air was cooler here, carrying the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle murmur of water over stone. Wakasa knelt for a moment, brushing his hands over the soft earth, and gestured for her to sit. "You may rest here," he said. "The earth is generous, and the night will be kind." The young woman sank to the ground, relief washing over her like the first rain after a long drought. For the first time in many days, perhaps even weeks, she felt safe, seen, and acknowledged. Wakasa began to gather herbs and small roots nearby, preparing a simple meal. The firelight from the small bundle of kindling he struck flickered over their faces, casting warm shadows that danced in the night. He moved with calm efficiency, showing no rush, teaching through action rather than instruction. As the stars appeared, one by one in the clear sky above, Wakasa offered her the first morsel of food. She accepted it gratefully, the warmth of the meal mingling with the warmth of newfound trust. "Tonight," he said softly, "you are not alone. And tomorrow, the world may feel a little brighter because someone has seen you." Her eyes glistened, reflecting the flickering light. Words failed her, but she nodded, understanding more in silence than speech could ever convey. The wind whispered through the grove, carrying the quiet promise of safety, care, and the first steps toward healing. And in that moment, under the watchful stars and the gentle rustle of leaves, a quiet bond was formed, one that would grow, guiding both warrior and traveler along a path of trust, courage, and belonging. The night settled softly over the plains, the sky deepening from violet to a rich velvet black. Stars blinked into existence, scattered like silver dust across the heavens, while the moon rose slowly, casting a gentle light that danced across the river and the swaying grass. The young woman, whose name was Ahioka, sat quietly on the soft earth, her hands folded in her lap. The warmth from the small fire crackled beside her, and for the first time in days, she felt a sense of calm settle over her spirit. Wichasa moved with quiet purpose, gathering small herbs, roots, and edible greens along the edge of the grove. He worked in silence, letting Ahioka watch, not as a teacher forcing knowledge upon a student, but as a guide inviting her to see the world differently. The way he moved, the care with which he handled each plant and stone, carried a rhythm that seemed connected to the land itself. He crushed the roots into a paste, added a few wild herbs, and cooked them over the fire. The aroma was earthy and inviting, filling the grove with a scent that made Ahioka's stomach rumble. She watched silently, fascinated by the rhythm of his movements. He did not rush, yet everything he did seemed to have purpose and precision. When the meal was ready, he offered her a portion. "Eat," he said. "Tonight, you do not need to worry about hunger." She accepted it with both hands, grateful more than she could express. The food was simple yet nourishing, and as she ate, she felt a warmth spreading through her body and soul. For the first time in a long while, she felt safe. After the meal, they sat in silence for a while, listening to the night. The river whispered softly, and the leaves rustled in a gentle wind. Wakasa looked at her and smiled. "You do not need to speak if you are not ready. Sometimes the silence is enough to carry understanding." The store, the people bustling about, the feeling of not belonging. Everything seemed distant now, softened by the night and by Wakasa's quiet guidance. She felt a strange mix of wonder and relief. "I have never felt this way before," she said finally, her voice low. "Safe." Seen. Not judged. Wakasa nodded, his expression kind. "It is because you are noticed. Not for what you do or do not do, but for who you are. The land, the night, and those who walk with you see your heart." Ahioka felt a small tear escape down her cheek. She hastily wiped it away. Embarrassed, but Wakasa did not comment. He understood without words. There was a strength in silence, a way to honor feelings without demanding explanation. As the night deepened, he stood and stretched, brushing the ashes from his hands. "Come," he said, holding out his hand. "There is a place nearby where the earth sleeps softly and the sky leans close. We will rest there." She hesitated, looking at the darkness ahead. But she trusted him now, trusting the calm in his voice and the care in his movements. Slowly, she took his hand, feeling the rough warmth of his skin, and allowed him to lead her through the grove toward a gentle rise overlooking the river. They arrived at a small clearing where the grass was soft and the river's song clearer. Witchcasa set down a simple blanket for them to rest on, leaving space between them to honor comfort and respect. The moonlight bathed the clearing in silver, and the stars seemed brighter here, untouched by the faint fires of the village. "Here," he said, "we are safe. Rest, breathe, and listen to the world around you." Ahioka lay back, letting the cool grass press against her back, and felt the tension in her shoulders ease. The night air was soft against her skin, carrying the scent of river, earth, and the faint smoke of Wakasa's fire. For the first time, she felt connected, not just to Wikasa, but to the land, to the stars, and to a sense of belonging she had never known. Wikasa sat beside her, keeping watch silently. His eyes scanned the horizon, not out of fear, but out of care. He understood the responsibility of watching over another, not through dominance, but through presence. "You have been carrying too much alone," he said quietly, almost to himself. "It is heavy for anyone to bear." Ahioka turned her face toward him. "How do you carry it then? How do you know when to help and when to let someone be?" He smiled softly. "You watch, you listen. You offer when needed, and you wait when it is not. And you remember that the world does not belong to one person alone. It is shared, and so must our care be." She nodded slowly, letting the words sink in. The night seemed to stretch endlessly above them, a vast, quiet space filled with stars and gentle sounds. She realized that trust was not given lightly, but could be earned through patience, kindness, and respect. And Waikasa had given it freely, without demand, without judgment. As she drifted towards sleep, she felt a sense of peace she had never known. The fear and worry that had followed her to the store, that had made her turn away from the world, were still there, but diminished. They were no longer her masters. Here, in the quiet grove, under the watchful care of a kind warrior, and the endless sky above, she could breathe. And Wikasa, seeing her slowly relax, felt a quiet satisfaction. Not from pride, but from understanding. The path of a warrior was not only in courage or strength, but in the care offered to those who needed it most. Tonight he had provided not only food, but trust, safety, and a small glimpse of hope. The night deepened, carrying them into its gentle embrace. The fire's glow dimmed as the embers cooled, and the river's soft murmur became the lullaby of the plains. In that moment, the bond between warrior and traveler strengthened silently, unspoken yet profound. The world beyond the grove could wait. Here, they were safe. Here, they belonged. And as the stars wheeled above and the moon watched over the quiet land, the first chapter of a journey, one of trust, courage, and the subtle power of kindness, was written in silence. The morning sun rose slowly over the horizon, spilling soft gold across the plains. The river sparkled in the light, and the grass swayed gently, carrying the songs of hidden birds. Waikasa and Ahioka sat quietly on the small blanket from the night before, listening to the world waking around them. The night had been calm, and the grove held its peaceful silence as though it had kept watch over them. Ahioka rubbed her eyes, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face. For the first time in many days, she had slept without fear. The quiet moments by the river and the simple meal of roots and herbs had nourished not only her body, but her spirit. She looked at Wakasa, noticing the calm strength in his posture, the patience that seemed to radiate from him. "Today," Wakasa said softly, "we will go on a journey. A journey of the spirit. Do you trust me?" Ahioka hesitated, then nodded. She had come to trust him, and his quiet presence reassured her. "I trust you," she said. Wakasa smiled and stood, gesturing for her to rise as well. He pointed toward a small path that led away from the grove, winding through tall grass and scattered trees. "The land has many voices," he said. "Some we can see, some we can feel, and some we must listen to with our hearts. Today, you will learn to listen." Ahioka followed him, stepping lightly over the soft earth. Every step seemed to awaken something within her. She noticed the tracks of animals in the soil, the faint rustle of leaves, and the distant calls of birds returning to their nests. Waikasa walked beside her, guiding but not rushing, allowing her to see the land through her own eyes. After some time, they reached a small clearing surrounded by ancient trees. The trunks were thick and gnarled, and the branches stretched high, creating a roof of leaves through which sunlight filtered in soft patches. Wakasa knelt and motioned for Ahioka to do the same. "Sit quietly," he said. "Close your eyes if you wish. Feel the earth beneath you. Listen to the sounds around you. This is your trial, not of strength, but of spirit." Ahioka hesitated, but obeyed. She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, and letting the warmth of the sun and the coolness of the earth fill her senses. She could hear the river in the distance, the soft hum of insects, the wind brushing through the leaves. For the first time, she felt entirely present, not burdened by worries or fears. Wakasa remained beside her, silent, his presence a steady anchor. He had taken many journeys like this in his own life, guided by the elders and the spirits of his ancestors. He knew that such moments could awaken understanding and courage in ways the mind alone could not. Time passed slowly. Ahioka's breathing deepened, and she felt her heartbeat align with the rhythm of the earth beneath her. A sense of peace spread through her, but alongside it came questions, doubts about herself, about belonging, about the world beyond the grove. She tried to push them away, but Wakasa's calm voice gently reminded her, "To understand the spirit, you must face the questions within. They are not enemies. They are teachers." Ahioka opened her eyes slightly, noticing the sunlight filtering through the branches. She thought about her life in the village, about the fear and loneliness she had carried, about the moments she had felt unseen. The questions came again. Why am I different? Why do I feel out of place? Why do people not notice me? Wakasa spoke softly. "The world sees only what is on the surface. but the spirit sees the heart. You must look within to understand yourself. Do not fear what you find." She closed her eyes again, letting the words guide her. Slowly, a vision began to form in her mind. She saw herself standing alone on the riverbank, the water reflecting the sky. At first, she felt small and fragile, but as she looked closer, she noticed a soft glow around her, a quiet strength she had never recognized before. The light expanded with each breath, filling her body with warmth and courage. "You see?" Wakasa's voice whispered beside her. "Even in solitude, there is strength. Even in fear, there is courage. The spirit is always present, even when the world does not notice." Heyoka felt a tear roll down her cheek, but this time it was not sadness. It was understanding. She realized that her fears and doubts were not weaknesses, but part of her journey. By facing them, she could grow. After some time, Wakasa stood and extended his hand. "Now we walk," he said. "The land will show us more." They moved through the forest, following a path that led to a small hill overlooking the river. Wakasa pointed to a group of animals grazing in the distance. "Watch them," he said. "See how they live in harmony with the world around them. They take only what they need, move carefully, and respect the balance of life. There is a lesson in everything." Ahioka watched silently. She saw the deer lift their heads, listening to the wind. She noticed the careful steps of a small rabbit as it moved through the grass. She felt a sense of connection, a part of a world larger than herself. "The spirits are in all things," Wakasa continued. "The wind, the river, the animals, the trees. When you learn to listen, you understand that you are never truly alone." Ahioka's mind wandered to her village, to the people she had felt distant from. She thought about her fears of being unseen or unimportant. But now she realized that belonging was not always about being noticed by others. Sometimes it was about noticing oneself, understanding one's own strength, and finding a connection to the world. As the sun rose higher, warming the hilltop, Wakasa led her to a small circle of stones near an ancient tree. He motioned for her to sit, then placed his hands on the earth. "Feel the life here," he said. "The earth has carried many before us. Their spirits live in the soil, in the stones, in the trees. When you touch the earth, you connect with them. You connect with yourself." Ahioka placed her hands on the warm soil, feeling the rough texture and the coolness beneath. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, sensing a wave of calm flow through her. She felt rooted, not just to the land, but to her own heart. "You have faced your fears tonight," Wakasa said softly. "You have seen the spirit within you. This is the true trial. Not the hunt, not the challenge, not the world, but the courage to look inside and find strength where you did not know it existed." Ahioka opened her eyes, looking at him with wonder. I feel different," she said. "Stronger. Lighter. I think I understand now." Wakasa smiled. "The journey does not end here. Life will continue to bring challenges. But remember this moment. Remember that you are never alone and that your spirit is your guide." They sat together in silence, watching the river flow below, feeling the gentle sway of the grass, listening to the songs of birds in the trees. The wind carried their quiet presence across the plains, and for the first time, Ahioka felt a sense of belonging, not because others noticed her, but because she had noticed herself. After some time, Wakasa stood. "We will return to the village," he said, "but the lessons of this place will stay with you. Carry them and you will walk with courage, even when the path is unknown." Ahioka rose, brushing the soil from her hands. She felt a sense of readiness, a quiet confidence that had not been there before. She looked at Wakasa and nodded. "Thank you," she said simply, "for seeing me, for guiding me." Waikasa's eyes softened. "It is not I who guided you. It is the land, the spirits, and your own heart. I only walked beside you." Together they descended the hill, moving through the forest with light steps. The sun climbed higher, casting golden rays through the trees. Each step seemed easier, lighter, as though the earth itself supported them. Ahioka felt a new rhythm within her, a balance of courage and calm, fear and trust, solitude and connection. As they reached the edge of the grove and looked back at the river and the hill where the trial had taken place, she understood that the journey of the spirit was ongoing. There would be more challenges, more questions, and moments of doubt, but now she knew she could face them, guided by the quiet strength she had discovered within herself. Wakasa walked beside her silently, proud not of himself, but of the courage she had shown. The path ahead of them was open, filled with unknowns, yet brighter now because she had learned to trust in herself and the world around her. And as they neared the village, the first gentle sounds of daily life reached their ears. The laughter of children, the calls of elders, and the soft murmur of the river. Ahioka smiled, ready to step back into the world, carrying the quiet strength of the spirit she had found. The morning air was crisp as Wakasa and Ahioka approached the village. The plains were bathed in soft light, the sky painted with hues of orange and pink. The river sparkled like liquid gold as it flowed past the trees, and the grass swayed gently in the early breeze. The world seemed alive with possibility, and Ahioka felt a new energy coursing through her veins. As they neared the village, sounds of life grew louder. The clatter of pots, the laughter of children, and the voices of villagers greeting one another. For a moment, Ahioka paused, uncertain. Returning to the place that had once made her feel small and unseen, now felt different. She stood taller, her shoulders straight, carrying a calm she had never known. Waikasa noticed her hesitation. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Remember what you have learned," he said softly. "You are seen not because others notice you, but because you carry your own light. Let it guide you." Ahioka nodded, taking a deep breath. She stepped forward, joining the small path into the village. Children, playing nearby, glanced at her curiously, but she did not flinch. She smiled gently at them, and in that simple gesture she felt connected, no longer apart from the life around her. As they walked past the village store, some of the villagers noticed her. A few nodded politely, others whispered among themselves. She felt their eyes, but she did not shrink away. Wakasa walked beside her, silent, allowing her to step fully into her own presence. At the center of the village, elders gathered as part of the morning routine. They watched her approach, curious but respectful. Ahioka felt a small wave of nervousness, but she remembered Wakasa's words and the lessons of the spirit trial. She took a deep breath and offered a greeting, steady and clear. "Good morning," she said. "It is a good day to see you all." The elders smiled warmly. One of the older women, her hair silver and braided carefully down her back, approached Ahioka. "You have walked a long path," she said. "And yet, you carry yourself with calm and strength. You have been guided by the spirits, I see." Ahioka bowed her head respectfully. "I have learned to listen," she said, "to the land, to the wind, to the river, and to my own heart. I understand now that I am part of the world, not apart from it." The elders nodded, their eyes reflecting pride and understanding. Wakasa stood slightly behind her, smiling softly. He had not done this for recognition, but he knew that Ahioka's growth was a quiet triumph. The journey of the spirit was never about applause. It was about courage, understanding, and connection. After the brief greeting with the elders, Wakasa motioned for Ahioka to walk beside him. They passed the villagers, and she began to notice how her presence had changed. She no longer felt the weight of being unseen or out of place. Instead, she felt a quiet confidence, a sense of belonging that radiated from within. Children smiled as she passed, and some even waved. She returned their gestures naturally, feeling the warmth of connection without the fear that had haunted her before. They arrived at the riverbank near the village, a place where villagers often gathered to wash, fish, or simply rest. Wakasa knelt by the water, gathering a few smooth stones and a small branch from a nearby tree. He gestured for Ahioka to join him. "Today," he said, "we honor the lessons of the journey. Every path has meaning. Every action leaves a mark. We carry what we learn forward, not just for ourselves, but for others." Ahioka watched as Wakasa arranged the stones in a small circle and placed the branch carefully across them. "This is a symbol," he explained, "a reminder that life is a balance of giving and receiving. We take from the land only what we need, and we give back respect, care, and understanding. Your journey has begun, but it is part of something larger, a circle that includes all who walk with you." Ahioka reached out and touched the stones, feeling their cool surfaces. She thought of the night by the grove, of the trial of spirit, of the lessons Waikasa had quietly taught her. She realized that the courage she had found was not just for herself. It was something she could share with others, simply by being present, by listening, and by acting with care. "You have grown much," Wakasa said, his voice calm but filled with quiet pride. "And yet, this is only the beginning. The world will continue to test you, to ask you to step forward, to guide, to listen, and to care. But you are ready. You have learned to see, and that is the greatest strength of all." Ahioka smiled, the genuine smile that reached her eyes. "I feel ready," she said. "I understand now. I can face the world, not alone, but with what I have learned and the spirits that guide me." Wakasa nodded, satisfied. He had not sought praise or recognition for his role, but seen her stand confidently, feeling the quiet strength she had discovered was enough. A warrior's work was often invisible, measured not by trophies but by the lives touched and the courage awakened. As they walked back into the village, Ahioka noticed the small details she had missed before, the way the sun caught on the rooftops, the laughter of children playing near the river, the way the elders moved with steady grace through their routines. The world felt fuller, richer, and she felt part of it. She approached the village store again, this time not with hesitation, but with ease. She greeted the storekeeper with a warm smile and accepted a small bundle of dried fruit and bread, not because she needed it desperately, but as a gesture of participation, of being part of the village life. The storekeeper smiled back, nodding in quiet approval, recognizing her presence without needing to ask questions. Later, Wakasa and Ahioka walked to a small hill at the edge of the village. From there, they could see the entire settlement, the river winding past, the forests stretching into the distance, and the plains spreading endlessly beyond. The wind carried their quiet presence across the land, and the sun bathed everything in a golden glow. "This," Wakasa said softly, "is your world. You are part of it, and in turn, it is part of you. Remember this feeling, this understanding. The land, the people, the spirits, they all walk with you." Ahioka breathed deeply, feeling the wind in her hair and the warmth of the sun on her face. She thought of the lessons of the grove, of the trial of spirit, of the quiet trust she had learned to give and receive. She realized that the courage to face life came not from the absence of fear, but from the knowledge that she could walk through it, guided by understanding, respect, and her own heart. The village rested, the river flowed, and the plains held the echoes of courage, care, and understanding. And in that quiet harmony, a new story had begun. One of hope, belonging, and the lasting legacy of a warrior who had chosen to see, and a young woman who had learned to be seen. "Why do you move like that?" Ahioka finally asked, her voice breaking the silence. "So careful, so deliberate?" Wasa paused and looked at her, his eyes reflecting the firelight. "The earth gives life," he said softly. "It also teaches patience. Every step, every choice, affects the world around us. To walk without care is to miss the lesson of each moment." Ahioka considered this, her gaze dropping to the fire. She had always felt out of place in the village, unsure how to act, unsure how to belong. But here, with Waikasa, there was no expectation except to watch, to learn, and to notice. For the first time, she felt like she could breathe. Waikasa motioned for her to join him as he gathered a bundle of wild onions and roots. "The land provides," he said. "If we take only what is needed, it will always give back. Come, I will show you." Together, they knelt at the edge of the grove. Wakasa showed her how to identify the edible plants, explaining in simple terms how each could nourish the body. He spoke of the taste, the smell, and the strength each plant could give. Ahioka listened carefully, asking questions, her hesitation slowly giving way to curiosity. She reached out, touching the roots, sniffing the leaves, and finally tasting a small piece of a herb Wakasa handed her. A faint smile touched her lips at the earthy, sweet flavor. "You see," Waikasa said, nodding gently, "even the smallest things can give life. Even when the world seems large and overwhelming, there is always something small and good to hold on to." The warmth of the fire, the smell of the herbs, and Wikasa's steady presence began to ease the tight knot of anxiety in Ahioka's chest. She realized that she had been walking through life expecting to be noticed only when she acted perfectly, when she belonged fully. But here, she was seen simply because she existed. After a time, Waikasa prepared a simple meal. "You have changed," Wakasa said, almost to himself. "Not because the world changed, but because you learned to see it differently. That is the gift of understanding, the greatest gift of all." Ahioka turned to him, her eyes shining. "And I will carry it forward," she said. "I will honor what I have learned, and I will share it in small ways with those around me. Not with words, but with my actions, my care, my presence." Wakasa smiled, a quiet, knowing smile. That is all a warrior must do. To walk with courage, to live with care, and to honor the path of life. As the sun climbed higher, the village came fully alive with activity. Villagers moved about their daily tasks, unaware of the quiet transformation that had taken place in the heart of one young woman. But those who paid attention, the children, the elders, and those who understood the language of spirit, would notice her calm, her presence, and the gentle strength she now carried. Ahioka looked out over the river, the fields, and the distant hills. She felt the bond with Wakasa, with the land, and with the spirits that had guided her. She understood that this was only one step in a lifelong journey, and yet it was a step that had given her the courage to face the unknown. Together, she and Wakasa descended the hill, moving through the village with quiet confidence. She greeted neighbors, shared smiles, and carried herself with the understanding that being seen began within. The lessons of the spirit trial, of patience, of trust, and of connection would guide her for the rest of her life. And in the evening, as the sun set and the sky was painted with pinks, purples, and gold, Ahioka knew that she belonged, not because the village accepted her, but because she had accepted herself. She had found her place in the circle of life, guided by the quiet wisdom of a warrior who had walked beside her, and by the strength of the spirit within her own heart.